We are continuing to keep a close eye on the 2020 Fulton County election interference investigation, and tomorrow there will be a federal court hearing in Atlanta for former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. He is one of the 19 co-defendants in the case, pushing to move his case to federal court. That hearing tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. here in Atlanta, and former President Donald Trump also pushing for his case to be moved to federal court, which experts say would be likely because of the differences in the pardoning process.
Because it's a state case, no president of the United States can issue a pardon for any conviction. So for the federal cases, either Trump or a Republican president favorable to Trump could potentially pardon him for any convictions there. Can't do that in Georgia. That means this case is particularly threatening to the president.
In Georgia, a pardon would have to go through a commission and only after a sentence is served. In the meantime, expect a lot of legal wrangling in this next week. We expect to see a lot of court filings, and we're keeping our eye on all of it for you. We will keep you informed every step of the process, catch up on the case, and see all of the latest updates right now on 11alive.com. Joining me now is Chuck Todd from NBC's Meet the Press. Good morning, Chuck.
Hey, good morning.
Looking ahead this week, former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows will have a hearing as he tries to get his trial moved up to federal court. We're also seeing this move from former President Donald Trump, but now it appears like that may not happen for Mr. Trump. Do you think the former president and his team have any more of these Hail Mary plays up their sleeve? Do you think he needs to be wary of any of his co-defendants turning on him moving forward?
Yeah. Look, I think the biggest danger to him right now is the fact that we could have a trial start in less than 2 months, right? When you have some of the co-defendants asking for a speedy trial. That, to me, is a development that should alarm Trump's campaign team. Why do I say that? Well, all of a sudden, Fani Willis lays out her case, which is a very strong case in this indictment, and you'll start to see some prominent Republicans testify on some of this evidence, and it will all be televised. And this is all going to be in the fall, intermittent between potentially debates and all of this. So, you know, I know that the Trump campaign needs to make people believe these indictments don't hurt them so that the other candidates don't go after him on this. But there is a drip to all of this. And as I like to remind people, the reason the expression straw that breaks the camel back exists is because things go fine until they don't. And there are now a lot more sort of unknown events that I think could impact Trump's campaign before Iowa that he has no control over. And everything having to do with these Georgia trial dates is one of those huge unknowns.
Yeah, a lot of potential straws coming up in the future. So, Chuck, Trump was a hot topic at the GOP debate Wednesday night, where he was not. And candidate Vivek Ramaswamy has defended the former president throughout this process. He faced some backlash at the debate for that. But what do you make of Ramaswamy's campaign right now? Does he become the front runner for the Republican Party if Donald Trump can't make it to the finish line?
That certainly seems to be his strategy, right? You know, both DeSantis and Ramaswamy had a similar idea: hug Trump and then try to make the case that they're a better candidate. DeSantis is a little more critical of Trump's 4 years than Ramaswamy is. Ramaswamy truly is hugging Trump, where DeSantis is trying to say he would be better than Trump, and he's a bit critical. And so far, you might argue that maybe the total hug part might be the better way to win over Trump's supporter, if you will, here. But I do think, I look at how the other candidates reacted to Ramaswamy. It told me a couple things. Number one, they'd love to beat up Trump, but they're afraid to. So Ramaswamy was sort of like the couch cushion that you punch in frustration when you can't do anything else. But they let DeSantis go. And I think they may look back at it as a missed opportunity. I don't think DeSantis would have handled a pylon very well, but they chose to avoid it and went directly at Ramaswamy. And it only, I think, helped him and enhanced him, if you will, for now, and may have diminished the rest of the field.
All right, Chuck, thanks so much for your insight. Meet the Press airs at 10 right after 11 Alive Weekend Morning News.